Everybody. My name is Pat Hagedorn. I am the Director of Communications and Development for the Nebraska Sports Council. And I've been with the Nebraska Sports Council for 25 years now. And just to give you a little history, the Nebraska Sports Council is a 501c3 not-for-profit organization. Our mission is health and wellness through quality activities and education. We do lots of programs over here at the Nebraska Sports Council, but the one that we're most known for, and it is our original program, and that is the Cornhusker State Games. The Cornhusker State Games started in 1985. A fellow by the name of Jerry McGinn, who at the time was Nebraska's athletic commissioner, traveled to a conference out in New York where he was introduced to the Empire State Games, which is the first state games that was ever put on. And he was challenged by the New York governor to come back and challenge our governor to put on a similar amateur sports festival, which is exactly what state games are. And he challenged Nebraska to do the same thing New York was. And thus then the Cornhusker State Games were born. We started with 14 sports and roughly 1,100 participants. And in 2019, I'm going to use 2019 as the reference number because of the crazy year we had this year. But in 2019, we put on over 70 events with over 11,000 participants. I mentioned the crazy year this year, but because of COVID, we did more like a little over 50 events with 6,000 participants, which was a great year. A little more about the Nebraska Sports Council. We do have a governing board of directors, roughly 24 people sit on that board, and that is statewide. We have everybody from Lincoln to Omaha and across the western part of the state as well. Some of the other programs that we do, we do a couple of races throughout the year. We have a mud run that we put on in August, and it has anywhere from 1,200 to 1,800 participants. We put on a pumpkin run in October, which is strictly an elementary age 1 mile cross country fun run for kids. And last year we had over 3,000 runners in that race. We also do a year-long wellness program called the Live Well Challenge, and that is simply a web-based tracking and calendar and informational piece that is free for people to log on and utilize, and we have roughly 6,000 participants in that program currently. Some of the other things we do what we call the Nebraska Corporate Games. That is our most recent program that we started. And this past year, we had over 40 companies that competed in over a dozen different events. And basically, it's companies competing against other companies, mini version of the Cornhusker State Games. And they basically compete for bragging rights and medals. And the best part about that program is it is work, wellness, and employee interaction. It's been a very fun program for us to do. So as you can imagine, this past year was our 36th year of doing the Cornhusker State Games. So that takes me to the next bullet point here is what is the problem we are trying to solve? And basically our problem is we have an unbelievable amount of data. Again, with 36 years of doing the Cornhusker State Games with the other programs mixed in, and 8 or 9 year where we did winter games as well, not just summer games. We have an unbelievable amount of data and increasingly building audience with social media coming around. So our problem is how to utilize this data, and the way we would like to utilize that data is analyze it in a way that we can increase participation, one, but also utilize it in a way to increase fundraising around here. Again, as a nonprofit organization, we rely heavily on corporate sponsorships and donations. Participation fees are help to pay for the programs that we put on themselves, but we rely heavily as well on sponsorships and donations for our operating budget around here. So our goal is to, and it's been a wish of ours for a long time, is to be able to analyze the data so that we can use it better, not only for demographics. We know where our participants are coming from, how often they are participating, and what all of our programs they're participating in. As well as, same thing, we have over 70 corporate partners and hundreds of donors that are in our database, and we just would like to be able to utilize that data in a more productive way. And again, the hope and the goal of analyzing that data is to increase participation and increase fundraising. So the way we currently do things now, obviously we have a registration system that we use and have used for the past, let's see, probably since 2012, we've had the same registration system for all of our programs. It's called Clear Thunder. It's a company called Clarity out of Madison, Wisconsin. And currently that's how we pull all of our data. We can pull it into Excel docs or CSV files and manipulate it from there. And beyond that, from 2012 back, there's a variety of registration systems that we've used throughout the years. Most of our data from those years is saved in Excel docs, and the early years in text files. So I'm hoping that that won't be a problem to combine and use. Some of the technologies that we use and the way we use that data currently is through email campaigns. We use a third-party email company called Constant Contact. And we have over 78,000, I think, currently email addresses uploaded into that database. And one of the ways that we use that database currently is do a monthly newsletter where we simply just blast all those email addresses with our most recent news items and the programs and the registration deadlines and the registration openings, that type of thing. We basically just hammer information out that way. And to use that Constant Contact as an example, we have never really drilled down into those contacts. If you're familiar with Constant Contact, you know that you pretty much can pull data from that after you send out the email. You can tell who opens the email, and you can tell who hasn't opened the email. And one thing we haven't done, and we wanted to do with this data, is to be able to drill down into those contacts and be able to utilize that information so we are better communicating with the audience that is, viewing and opening our emails. Same thing with, some of the social media things today. So our Facebook pages, we're gaining more and more likes and views and followers, and we would like to use the analytics from that to be able to drill deeper into our audience and figure out who's participating, how we retain those participants, and build participants off of that from the demographics. Likewise, same thing on the fundraising side. I'm kind of speaking to the participation side there, but the same thing goes on the fundraising side of things. We would like to be able to reach those donors and sponsors more efficiently, and effectively. I think that is all I had on my list to address. I'm looking forward to working with you guys, and if you have any questions, let me know.